This is John Groves coming to you from my home studio. For today's Bible talk, I would like to finish the series we started on the subject of war as depicted in the Bible. Fittingly, it is in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, where we, in essence, will find the last word on the subject. John of Patmos, the writer of Revelation, wrote about his visions of end times, referred to as eschatology, with the notion that these things are hidden until revealed. John's visions fall under the category of apocalyptic writings. The term apocalypse, which comes from the Greek apokalypsis, has now acquired the sense of the end of the world or the end of something very significant, even though its principal meaning is simply revelation. What has been hidden is now revealed. The term Armageddon refers to a place where a final battle between the forces of good and evil was expected to take place as part of the end times. Curiously, the term only occurs once in the Bible. This is in Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. It is part of a vision concerning 7 angels, all carrying a bowl. John relates how the 6th angel empties the contents of his bowl on the Euphrates River. The river dries up, and then the kings from the east gather for their final confrontation, and they were gathered in a place called Armageddon. Scholars have opined that Armageddon may well be referring to the plains of Megiddo, or Megiddo, where earlier generations had fought some decisive battles. For example, in the 7th century before the Christian era, the Israelite king Josiah went to war against the Egyptians, and it was at Megiddo that he lost his life, leading a charge against the enemy. And just a few chapters later in Revelation, from the point of referring to Armageddon, John shares one of his visions as follows. Then I saw the heaven opened, and there was a white horse. Its rider is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. This rider is seen leading the armies of heaven. These warriors are described as wearing fine white linen. Their leader will strike down the nations and rule them with a rod of iron. On his robe and on his thigh, he has inscribed the name King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The destruction of the forces of evil will be followed by a millennial reign. Those who are faithful to their Christian faith would be coming to life and reigning with Christ. The idea of a cataclysmic encounter between the forces of good and evil was not novel to Judaism and Christianity. The Zoroastrian religion of the Persians, and these were the people who liberated the Israelite exiles from Babylon, were adherents to this religion, Zoroastrianism. The Zoroastrian god Ahura Mazda was expected in the end times to confront the forces of evil and destroy them utterly. For people who are downtrodden and discouraged, the image of an end time when good was expected to triumph over evil was something that could engender them with great hope. And it was during the time of the Roman occupation of Palestine, the time in which Jesus of Nazareth lived and carried out his mission, that many of the inhabitants had an idea that the Messiah they were expecting would deliver them from their oppressors and usher in a new world order. And consistent with these notions, the triumph of good over evil would require a significant military victory. For many Palestinian inhabitants of the first century, Jesus simply did not fulfill their expectations. For Unity and Charles Fillmore, a final confrontation between the forces of good and evil simply does not make sense. Unity, metaphysical thought, rejects the existence of evil. In light of that, there's the question of how we should interpret John's visions. Interestingly, Fillmore does not develop a definition of Armageddon in either his Metaphysical Bible Dictionary or his Revealing Word, nor do his recorded sermons discuss the sections from Revelation to which we have referred. The closest we come to understanding how he viewed these events comes from his entry on Megiddo in his Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. He supplies the following definition: the gathering together of the hordes of error thoughts in consciousness to make war against the truer and higher thoughts and ideals of the individual. He notes that if the higher thoughts are not true to their spiritual ideals, they are sometimes overcome by these errors. But the opportunity is there for the individual to achieve, quote, a great and sweeping victory over error, end quote. That victory thus allows precious fruit of great abundance for growth in righteousness and truth. Until next time, when we'll be exploring other subjects in the Bible. This is John Groves signing off.